This year, I turned 40. And if I could go back in time and share some guidance on how to find yourself faster, how to build real confidence, here's what I would share. The quality of your life is not determined by your upbringing. It's not determined by your academics, by your mistakes. It's actually determined by the quality of your questions. So if you're asking questions, what is wrong with me? Why it doesn't work for me? What is it that I don't want? Then that's what you're going to build, that you're going to answer. Your brain is going to give you answer based on those questions and bring you the answers. But on the other side, if you focus yourself on what is it that you want, how can you achieve that? Who else achieved what is it that you want to achieve? Then that's going to determine the quality of your life more than anything else, because that's where your attention goes. That's where your actions go as well. The second one is that the biggest crimes are the ones that we make against our own body. It's because we actually don't value our body, or we appreciate our body only if I look good, I talk nicely about myself today. Otherwise, if I haven't achieved something, then I'll punish myself and I will not go to sleep, or I will talk about my body like, why can't you do it? Why is it so difficult? You should be stronger. Focus on how you can take care of your chemistry, right? Like moving, nourishing, sleeping, like these two things. And then after you check these three, you can start to complain. But if these things are not in order, it's impossible for you to actually work with your mindset once your body is not in the best possible care that you can offer. Third one is find your strength. I think the best question that I found was from Naval Ravikant, and he said, what is something that feels like play to you but looks like work for others? So basically, once you find your strength, find how you can add value to other people with your strength and not build on your weaknesses. Other people are going to point out your weaknesses, or they are going to compare with their strength, or you're going to do that, compare yourself with their strengths and thinking that they are successful because they are doing that. Therefore, you should do that as well. The biggest mistake was to not go with what is it my strength, or what is it that I wanted to do, and I've listened to others. And that gets us to the fourth point. All fears are actually having this question at the core. What if they are going to reject me? What if I'm going to fail? What if it's not going to work? What if I'm going to lose respect, love, money? And then the question that is actually very relevant here is, then what? If it's going to happen, then what? Therefore, when you realize that you are going to survive and you are better off by actually doing the things, you will be more happy, more satisfied with yourself instead of giving in to fear, because that's going to keep you stuck. Feeling worthy. Feeling worthy is what is normal. So we feel worthy of the things that we perceive to be normal for us, basically in the environments we grew up in. So for my example, for my kids, is it normal to travel to work? Is it normal to meet people from other cultures? Is it normal to learn new languages? For me, it was normal to be in the village and work the field and with the animals. That was my normal. Whenever we actually getting to the boundaries of our normal, that's when we start to actually question our worth, or that's when we are facing the imposter syndrome. So therefore, what we have to do, instead of shrinking ourselves or thinking that our normal is better or worse than other normals, we just have to take this neutral position and ask questions, get curious. It's fascinating. It's like watching a movie. For other people, is it normal that they have a cleaner in the house? Instead of comparing, just ask the question, because the more you lean in with questions, if this is what you desire, it can become your own normal as well. Confidence is actually not a personality trait. I was thinking, I was looking around, and some kids, when they were small, they were naturally confident, and I was not naturally confident. And what I realized is that confidence is built by doing the things that you want to do. For example, I've let my kids, when they were really small and they were climbing walls or climbing the cupboard, and I've let them do the things that they wanted to do because they were pushing themselves, and I was there to catch them, but I didn't stop them. This is not for you, because that's how they are actually building agency. That's how they are building competence. Therefore, taking action towards the thing that you want, and you become confident and you are learning things out of your inner curiosity. I have lost confidence when I didn't trust and I didn't go for the things that I wanted, and I've listened to other people because I've let fear taking place, and I let fear to actually do the talking. Even if I knew what I wanted to do, I actually go and studied economics instead of actually studying psychology, but I was more interested in, because I didn't want to fail and I was too scared. I was not feeling strong enough to take the responsibility at that point. I just wanted to get out of the village, and if that would have meant to do economics instead of following what I wanted to do, I was just willing to pay the price and to sacrifice. But at the end, I've lost my confidence in that process. I've lost about myself, and I only discovered and reconnected with myself when I was 32 after having the kids. I got back to actually question what were the things that were actually bringing me joy and the desire to be an example for my own kids. So in the end, confidence comes from taking action towards the thing that you want to do. Happiness is not actually the absence of negative emotions, and it's not only about positive emotions or positive thinking. So happiness is actually when you look fear in the eyes and you choose growth. And happiness is like on those like stressful or challenging times, you add elements of gratitude, for example, or you add like what is already working, what is already good. And there is actually power and real happiness, because it feels like the achievement when you go through it. You not only enjoying the process more, you don't condition yourself like I will be happy when I achieve what I want. I will not stop being stressful and worry until I know this problem is solved. When you are facing the problem, you're not resisting it. You are looking for solutions. You are adding elements of positivity. Don't wait until pain hits you in order to create the change that you want. This is a pattern that I was like, when things were like hitting a point where I said like, I can take it lower than that. So therefore, when I was hitting that point, I can take it lower than that, I was moving into action. The shift that needed to be done is like move to action and define more of what is it that you want and go after that. Don't wait until the pain hits in order to move into action. For example, you have like your house starts to become more chaotic, and then you wait until you can't take it anymore, and that's where you start to clean and make order. The same with a relationship. You wait for the things to degrade until you can't take it anymore, and then you just burst, just take action faster. Finding the right one is not actually settling for what is available. It's not about what is available in your proximity. So that's available to, hire the person that is brother or the son of someone that you already know, or actually finding the right person like as a partner. It's actually about defining what kind of person do you want, and give yourself enough time and, action and iteration until you find that feels right. So it's about actually being really comfortable with emptiness, with void. Like, I don't have someone yet. And instead of just taking the next person that comes your way to actually fill the place, you keep the intention on what is it that you want. Therefore, you give enough space and time until the right person actually fits. You can't fix your marriage. I was thinking like, if we stop doing this and if you will stop doing that, then our marriage will work. And what I realized is that a marriage is not a broken car. You just fix something and therefore suddenly it's working. And most people think that, and then they just change cars, they find a new partner, and then they just move in circles because they are facing the same issues. They focus on the car. Instead of as a partner, as marriage, you focus on where is it that we want to go. When you get together with someone, you're like excited about building a future together. You have ideas, what you want to do. You maybe imagine kids, you maybe imagine traveling, maybe you found your person to do all the things, wonderful things that you want to do in your life. So it's about sharing. It's about actually being anchored in similar values, like how do you want to raise your kids? What are the things that are important to you? Therefore, it's not about fixing the car. It's not about fixing each other. It's about defining these elements. What is it that you want? Then agreeing that going together on this journey is so much more fun and you are supporting each other into this journey. Okay, so this is a big one. Get comfortable talking about money. I have like this. Getting comfortable talking about money. I think the most uncomfortable thing was that I was associating my worth with how much money I make or how much money I don't make. I was mostly focused on improving myself. So I was thinking, if I improve myself, then I can get myself in better environments. I can connect with better people. And that was actually true. But I was not comfortable talking about money. How much money do we need? Or how much does that cost? How can we make more money? What are my beliefs about money coming from my family, right? That you have to work hard for the money, they don't grow on trees and so on. And being very careful that actually you can get into the trap of trading time for money when instead you have to trade like ideas and value for money, because then you are like stuck. If you are not working, then you are not making money. If you don't stay extra, then you don't make extra money. Therefore, the more you realize that the people want the outcome, they don't want your time, they want the thing, then you can charge for the thing. You don't charge for the time. Keep using the principle, chicken and cheese. When I wanted to continue my studies and go to university, I actually needed help with math. My parents didn't have money to pay for that. So I traded a chicken and cheese for math lessons. And then from that, I was giving math lessons to my colleagues and they were like giving me in literature classes, or they were like sewing a pair of pants for me. So basically the idea is that you don't have to have what it takes to get what is it that you want. You need to use what you have to move one step closer towards what is it that you want and repeat, because you become more resourceful as you go. So keeping in mind the chicken and cheese principle. Self-made is a myth. So I was thinking at one point, in order to be confident, what is the image of the best version of myself? I need to become an independent woman. So therefore, I fell into this trap that I have to do it all myself. And the question was, how can I do it all? How can I, raise the kids and have the kids that I want? How can I actually have the career or the business that is fulfilling and it's actually creating the impact and the value that I desire, kind of life I envision for myself and for my family? Then I realized that actually self-made means like this person somewhere along the way made a decision that they are no longer waiting for people to give them things. Like they are not, blaming their parents that they didn't give, or blaming the government, or, waiting for the spouse to do the thing that they want to do. They stop expecting others to give them permission to go after what is it that they want. But in the end, you are actually working with others and you are more interdependent in a way until you make it. So in the end, the more you actually think about being interdependent, like I bring this to the table, you bring that to the table, therefore we are richer together. You bring 100% of yourself. And that's interdependence. Everybody wins. Decision making. So moving from my village, having kids, moving to Spain, then moving from Romania to Spain, moving from Spain to Indonesia and Bali. What can I tell you? The question that helped was what would make a better story? And I did choose starting the business, moving countries with actually thinking that it would make a better story to do these things instead of not doing it. Because even if you fail, then you still have learned something and you still have a story, then actually not doing anything and not even trying. You can thrive in a toxic environment, no matter how many positive affirmations, no matter how much positive thinking you are, is not going to happen. A toxic environment is going to drag you down. So you'll have to take yourself, move countries, move cities, declutter your environment. It could be that as a simple one, but cleaning your environment is going to actually changing your environment at the base of actually real change, instead of trying to force yourself to change yourself in an environment that is not nourishing you in a way that allows you to actually grow. Your personality isn't fixed. I was doing this like personality tests and I was thinking, oh, right now I am an empath or I'm an introvert or I'm a harmonizer, and they are thinkers and they are rebels. I was thinking that we are bucketed like that, and this is who I am and this is how they are, and therefore I'm doing this kind of things and they are doing this kind of things. What I realized that is actually there's so much more fun to open yourself to new ways of experiencing life. For example, I was thinking, I'm so an empath and therefore I don't like fighting, but I started jiu-jitsu and then I realized and I've learned so much about myself and I developed so much more confidence in my body by actually training jiu-jitsu, because even if it was something that I never thought I would be, the kind of person that does that kind of thing. But once I realized that actually it's not that difficult, once you actually take it step by step, you learn to lean into this new experience. It's not like it's a natural. Put yourself in different environments, and therefore you are absorbed in new kinds. If you want to be more fun, you watch more comedy. If you want to be more adventurous, go and start something that adventurous, because they have a process from beginners to the professionals. Collect wins even when things don't go as you want. The question that I ask myself is like, how is this good for me? Problems come your way, and instead of resisting, instead of getting angry, that is like not something that I want to spend my time and energy. I would have preferred not to have to deal with the things that is happening, but then it happens. So the question that is shifting is like, how is this good for me? And I did record this video before, like I tried from start to finish, but at one point I looked at the camera and actually it recorded it without the sound. So I was like, great, now I have to do it again. So here I am doing it again. But how is this good for me? I think in this video, I'm more calm. I feel like I'm really talking with my 20 years old self instead of performing or teaching my 20 years old self. So yeah, I think this is a better choice. So if you like this kind of content on how to shift your questions and how to think, feel free to subscribe, because this is what I intend to publish more and more on this channel, and how to build a winning mindset, how to build a thriving mindset by using empowering questions instead of questions that are based on fear, who's to blame, what's wrong with me. The discussion, what's the vision, what do I want? More empowering questions that are actually focusing your attention on the things that are actually moving you forward. This one, you become so much more productive, not by working more and working late, but by actually going to sleep on time with one question, instead of keeping all the tabs and all the problems and all the things that you want to do open in your mind. What is it that I want to achieve next day that would make me feel proud, that would make me feel like it's going to be a successful day? If I do only one thing, you'll realize that you will come with so many ideas. You will wake up with so much more energy in the morning than jumping from all and going all over the things and waking up is like, what do I have to do today? What day is today? What should I start with? And so on. Change the meaning of mistakes in order to end your perfectionism. So I've been doing these videos and I've been judging myself. My English is not that good. And I was like, I'm not publishing it yet. But we've been trained through school that mistakes are bad, to see mistakes as a punishment. But mistakes are actually part of the learning process. You learn to drive and you make mistakes, and then you remember the right ways on how to do it. And the more you iterate, the better you get. Overthinking comes from asking all the wrong questions, because what does it do? It keeps you stuck and you never move towards any kind of action. Then you have to do more, think about and predict all the wrong scenarios, instead of actually asking the question, what would be a sign that things are actually moving in the direction that I would see that, or I will think that is progress, or things that are really getting better. Therefore, you don't have to actually, if you don't know exactly what you have to do, you have to think of who will notice that things are getting better, or how would you notice that actually things are getting better. So instead of pushing change, you expect change to happen and you are an observer. Don't let the fear to look bad keep you from showing up messy, because by doing, you're actually have the opportunity to take feedback and to learn and to define better what is it that you actually want, or what's a better path. You are not failing at your goals. You are partially achieving your goals. If you set goals and you don't achieve your goal, there's no problem. You can change the deadline, you can change your approach, but you are actually not failing at your goals. You just learn a way on how not to achieve your goals. Or maybe you realize that is not actually the kind of goal that you want to go after. So keep setting goals even if it feels like you are not achieving your goals, because pretty sure you've done progress and you've partially achieved your goals. You don't get love and respect from others by silently sacrificing yourself and hiding your need and thinking, if I make sure they are happy, then I am happy and we are going to be in such a harmony. When you get love and respect and appreciation is actually when you openly communicate your needs, when you openly discuss what is it that you want, what is it that we want together. And therefore, you are removing this superficial happiness. So therefore, when you get to this level of integrity with yourself by actually asking the question, what would I say if I wasn't afraid of losing love, of losing respect, of losing job, of losing the person? What would I say if I would be truly honest with myself? That's not something that is easy to do. It's not something that people do. Therefore, showing up as yourself, not hiding your needs, not hiding what is it that you want. That's when you are actually building healthy relationships. This is a good one. Most people think that they have to have the answer. They should already have known. So therefore, they are fearful to ask questions. And my advice to you is to have the right questions. Get curious instead of expecting from yourself to have the answers. You don't have to have the answers. You just have to have the right questions. And the right questions are, what are the resources that we have? How can we use them? Where is it that we want to go? What's the vision? Who else achieved what we want to achieve? What can we do? How can we move forward? Instead of, do you love me? When you feel the need to ask this question, ask yourself instead, how can I show some love for myself, some care for myself? Because when you're going to do that, and instead of focusing on others and asking to get that attention and recognition, just do it for yourself. And then surprisingly, you'll also get it from the people around you, because you are shining, because you're taking care, because you value yourself. And ways you value yourself, others are reflecting that back to you. But don't expect forgiveness, but embrace acceptance. Basically, forgiveness means that your life is worse, or you cannot actually build the life that you want because you are still hoping that that forgiveness will give you freedom. Therefore, waiting for that forgiveness is keeping you like, I cannot feel complete. I cannot feel like myself. I cannot go after the things that I want. My life would have been so much better if that thing wouldn't have happened. But what would heal me would be some forgiveness. You can do that for yourself. Like, you can be in acceptance and complete yourself, because there's nothing wrong or broken with you. Your life is not worse because of that. It's becoming, and you're keeping it worse because you expect for the forgiveness. Once you can just move into acceptance, you cannot force your perception on who you think they should be in order to match. You cannot force that perception on them so they can become the person that you want them to be for yourself. So acceptance serves you better in order for you to actually feel complete and live life that you want. You understand better people. You can read people better, not by looking at where they are and who they are right now, but by actually listening to the kind of questions they are asking. So that's going to tell you way much more about where they are going and who they are becoming. Because at one point, someone told me, oh, you're just a village girl. Why do you want to go to university? And because I had better questions, I managed to actually not still be a village girl and being able to explore and understand more of this world than actually just, staying in a village. Marriage is not the 50-50 deal. Well, it might look like that, like you're my half, but basically what happens is like you bring 100% of yourself in the relationship. That's when you are having a happy relationship, when you actually focus more on the vision instead of actually splitting of what it is. And therefore, how can we make it happen? What is it that we are aiming for instead of focusing, you're not doing that or you're not doing that, which I did for a while. And it was very painful and it was a lot of suffering and it's not leading anywhere. It's not getting you what is it that you want. Having the conversations more about what is it that we already bring. How would we recognize that things are actually improving and moving in that direction? And usually how my husband said after this kind of questions, he said like, I would recognize progress if we keep talking about the things that are good and the things that we want to create and focusing on little steps that can actually get us closer to that. So being in gratitude, being focused on your strengths, focusing on the vision that you have for your life, that's bigger 100%. Guilt is informing you about what is important to you. It's not actually about how can I do it all? How can I be the perfect mother? How can I be the perfect wife? How can I have the perfect career? It's more about what is important for me. I know it's important to have a connection with my kids, but is it actually as relevant to clean and iron their clothes as well? Or is actually what is important is the conversation that I have with my kids? So guilt is telling you like you cannot be happy and you should be doing something else. While I was working, I was like, oh, I should spend more time with my kids. While I was with the kids, I was thinking about work. So therefore, it was not present how you can say to guilt, okay, thank you for letting me know that both of these things are important for me, but now I choose to focus on my work. I choose to focus on being present with my kids. Surround yourself with people that actually know or have an answer to the question, what have you learned lately? Because if not, they are going to discuss other people. And what you want is to discuss ideas. So therefore, you can actually have an interesting conversation when someone actually starts to share that. What have you learned lately? And it's not about people. It's something that actually they've made a change in how they view their life on. They made a shift on how they are approaching a certain type of action or something that they've tried differently. That's more inspiring. Okay, this is a good one. People don't want to like you. People want to like themselves while they are with you. So therefore, don't stress yourself that are they going to like me? What you have to do is like get curious about them and learn about what is exciting for them and ask them questions. And therefore, they're going to end up actually liking you. What makes a happy marriage is two happy people. Therefore, when one of us is not happy, what we do is like, what do you need? Do you need to sleep? Do you need some coaching? Do you need some questions? So we try to actually support the other person, give them space to be happy again. The times when I wasted my time the most was when I started to do things that other people wanted me to do. And I knew in my heart that is not the thing that I would want to do. So therefore, that is not being truthful with myself. I've wasted so much time. I went to university. I took jobs that I knew they are not right for me, but I did them anyway because I didn't want to disappoint. I didn't want to say no. I wanted to please. I was not courageous enough to actually assume the risk of failing. What if I go after what I want and I will not succeed and I will not make it? And then what? Take enough time to think and decide about the things that you commit to do, that are coming from you, that are aligned with you. So when you act from that, you actually value your life truly. Calming down doesn't mean you slow down. When you are sailing the ocean, if you have rough water, so you just move in circles, you are not moving faster. You're just so stressed with managing the rough waters instead of actually making progress. So calm waters are actually taking you way much faster towards the destination. So instead of conditioning yourself that I will only release the stress when I will arrive at the destination, when I know this problem is solved, calm yourself, take a deep breath, bring some gratitude, find that inner peace, and therefore you will see more opportunities. So as you calm yourself instead of stressing yourself, you are not solving things with stressing yourself. Find and connect with your inner wisdom. What I've discovered later to be morning pages from the book The Artist's Way. So basically you just start in the morning and you go like for 3 pages with everything that is on top of your mind, the questions you have, and you'll discover that you can connect so many things by yourself. I had this perception that I have to wake up in a rush and be full of energy instantly and go about doing my stuff. What day is today? What do I have to do? Do the kids need breakfast? Is a school day? Not a school day? It's actually waking up and reconnect in my body and then asking a question, what is something that I look forward for the day? So once I have this state, I can slowly start to take action, visualize even my day. Starting the day from a calm state was life-changing for me. More productive, more calm in my interactions, more mindful in my interactions, and I felt better than rushing. You don't have to set boundaries because the more you actually know what is it that you want, boundaries are sub-communicated. Like people just are repelled automatically. They don't even dare to ask because you're so clear on what is it that you want, what are your expectations. If we think a boundary is like, if you do that one more time, if you cross this boundary, then you establish consequences. So this is not something that you want because there is always a fight around those boundaries, and it's like not the energy that you want. If it's your spouse, if it's your employees or so on, you want to be so clear about what's the desired situation, what are your expectations if they are not clear, and that's going to automatically establish the boundaries. Take an active pursuit with learning. Like, what books do you want to read this year? Make a list. What skills do you want to learn? Be proactive about this. I can help people way much better by actually developing myself. So never let other people tell you to stop from developing yourself and from learning. Make a plan and challenge yourself to actually learn even more. And sometimes they will come back and ask you, how did you do that? Showing up makes a better version of yourself than the version of yourself that decided not to show up. I don't have to push myself. I don't have to do the best workouts. I have to show up. Speak the language of love. So whenever you can, encourage someone. Whenever you can, praise them for something that is praiseworthy. Whenever you can, encourage yourself when you look in the mirror. Speak the language of love. Say something good about yourself. If you see someone that you appreciate, say that to them. This is something that is so life-changing, to see the good in yourself and see the good in people. I had 40 points and I have one more. Be solution-oriented instead of problem-oriented. Problem talk creates problems. Solution talk creates solutions. Talk about ideas instead of talk about people. Talk about what is it that you want instead of the things that you don't want. So I'm going to conclude it with the idea that I don't have all the answers, but I know I got something really special here, and that is I found that some questions are better than others, and I'm focused on those questions that are actually bringing in growth, that are actually energizing, that are making our life better. So if you want to learn how to ask the questions that move your life forward, hit a like and hit subscribe. Thank you so much.